Hello, here we are with another problem that we're trying to take care of. This is a 106-year-old building. First used was the World War I draft board in 1914. Anyway, the weight on this wall was so heavy that it did something to the floor. If you'll notice, the floor's got a pretty good size hump, say 3 or 4 inches, and it goes all the way down here. Pretty thick floor, and we're going to cut an opening over here, make a doorway that you can get going in and out because there's no way to get under here. And we'll see what we got. So we'll mark out the doorway area, and we'll cut a door that will fit. I need to make sure I can get pretty good sized boards, say 16 foot, so that's why I chose to be right here. This is 10, 12. So I can almost get 16 foot if I go all the way to right in here. And I want like a 4 foot area. So we're gonna mark maybe from this area here that's straight, go about a foot, and then go 4 foot, and that way we can get longer boards, booms in here. So first thing I'm gonna do is measure the width of this flooring, which is quite thick. It is straight up 1 1/8 inches. So a 1 by then was 1 inch and more. Let's see how far down. Doesn't look like that's very far down. Not very far down to dirt. I was thinking there's going to be a lot more room. So now we can tell where the floor joists are. Go from there. Alright, so what we determined was the floor joists are moving, not moving, but the floor covering, which is actually 1 1/8 big, is moving because these 4x4s, they put them in with no idea that they needed to sit on top of the floor joist, so it's all the weight sitting in between the floor joists. The floor joist is here, it's right here. It's kind of, the floor joists are not particularly running square. There's no support through the middle here. So what we're going to do is cut the floor out here to here. And we're going to put support underneath that side just because we can reach it. And we're going to put support down through the middle. And we'll probably put some support on this side. And then I'll talk to the owner and see if he's okay with me moving the post where it sits on the floor joist, getting another post and putting it there. That will probably support a lot of weight. Now we've taken the floor up, and we found out, like I said before, that the 4x4s are in the wrong place or in between the floor joist. We're going to end up putting a 4x4 on the floor joist here and over there. And before we do that, though, we're going to support a line of blocks from between 4x4s here and along that side and along this side, just because we can. we'll make things better. So that's what we're doing. We're digging it out. We're going to wedge it up tight. We're pre-drilling holes. After wedging up everything in blocks, we're pre-drilling the holes into this hardwood, and then we're putting 3-inch screws. It just did not have, it just had one nail on each end, tongue groove to hold it together. So we're making things better, not the same as it was. In 1914 didn't have battery powered, didn't have very much in the way of screws, so this would have been something that really wasn't possible. You need a pry bar there?
Probably, yeah. We have one right here.
Did we find a board to fit that, Tim?
I sure did, but there it is. There's it, for fuck's sake, he knows where it went.
Okay, Drew. Everything's fastened now. We put in new 4x4s where over top of the floor joist, so it won't let the floor buckle up. We put 2 of them because both of those 4x4s were in between floor joists, and it was buckling up the floor. All the floors are now fastened with screws, and all in this area anyway. And we have wood underneath the areas where there's holes. Somebody had put a metal tin can, nailed it over there, so we're going to put a piece of wood in there later. But now we got solid floor. And away we go. See you guys later.